Hi, today we're going to make sprouted almond oil. Okay, we're going to start with 1 pound of almonds. So I've got these weighed out, 1 pound dry almonds. And I'm going to go ahead and add water to that. So let's see, we're starting with 2 cups, so we'll know how much water to add. Let's take a look there. The almonds are going to soak up that water pretty good. And so we want to overlap the surface a little bit. That feels like about the right amount. That's 2 cups, but I'm going to add another 1/4 cup. Be right back. Okay, so here's our almonds. That's 1 pound of almonds, and we've added 2½ glasses of water. I'm now going to put a lid on this, kind of real loose, so it can kind of breathe. And we're going to set this in a dark, cool area for 2 full days, 48 hours. Okay, so here's the almonds, and it's 24 hours later. And sometimes nowadays they do things with the almonds. They maybe steam them or do things to inhibit things. So this water's gotten quite murky after 24 hours, so we're simply going to change it out. So again, after 24 hours the water's kind of murky, so we'll take it. Simply get rid of the water. We simply put in some fresh water, leave the lid on loose. I'm going to put it back in that area and let it sit another 24 hours. That's it. Okay, so here's the nuts, another 24 hours. The water's gotten kind of murky. They don't usually get this murky unless they've steamed them or did something to protect the people against the almonds. And so if that happens, just change the water out a little bit more. Again, our intention is to make oil out of this. So they've been soaking for 2 full days, 48 hours. We're going to remove the water, place them on a screen, and let them cure back or dry back for a day to 2 days. Okay, so here we go. We have the almonds. They've been soaking for 48 hours. We're now going to get rid of the water and set them out on a screen and let them dry back. So I'll take this little screen and do one of these. Usually we'd let this drain for a few minutes, but that'll be good enough for now. And so we have that, and we'll be right back. Okay, so here's the almonds. They've soaked for 48 hours. We just got rid of the water, and I have a screen here, basic screen from a window, and I'm going to spread these out. Okay, and so we have them on a screen, and I'm going to spread them out so that they barely don't touch each other. Give them a little bit of space. If you see something that looks a little strange or something's a little bit dark, pull it out. We'll just send it to the animals or back to the earth. Okay, they're spread out enough. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it up on a rack in our living room, and it'll sit and dry at room temperature basically for about 48 hours. Be right back. Okay, so here's the almonds, and we put them on the screen, and they're on a little rack here. And okay, and we're going to raise that up. And so that'll be in the living room here. And so at room temperature, and we're going to tie that off and just let that hang at room temperature for about 2 days, and we'll check on those once a day. And after 2 days, the first 2 days they've soaked up water and expanded, and then as they sit out of the water now, they'll dry back and dehydrate, reduce back into a rich golden oil. Again, these are almonds, and we'll see you and we'll check on them in 24 hours together with the camera. Okay, so the almonds have been drying back at room temperature for 24 hours now. And so I'm going to step up here to the ceiling height. I'm going to reach up and get a few, or get one. We're going to look at it, get it into focus here, and it breaks pretty easy. And the water's dehydrating back. I'm going to bring this down one moment. Okay, so all I've done is brought one down. They've been dried back for about 24 hours. And I'm going to break a little tiny piece off. Okay, set this down. I'm going to take a little tiny piece here. I got it between my thumb and my finger. And I'm going to look at this here. And I'm going to pinch it. Still really hard. I can feel it lightly breaking between my thumb and my finger versus a flaced or a meat. And so there is an oil paste in a sense, but we want this to dry back even more so it turns more to an oil. And so it's on its way there. And there's that little piece right there. And I have the other. And again, you could hear it breaking, and it breaks off into pieces. And again, when this dries back a little farther, it won't be pieces. It'll be like a flaced with a beautiful oil. Okay, so another 24 hours. Okay, so here's the almonds. They're on the screen in the background. They've soaked for 48 hours. They've dried back at room temperature for another 48 hours. Actually, they've gone a little longer, maybe an extra 5-6 hours because it's the way it was today. And so basically 2 days soaked, 2 days cured back or dried back at room temperature. And so here's the almonds, and let's take a look at them. They're nice and kind of rubbery. You can kind of twist it and bend it. And we'll take a little piece of one. So we can get this in the light. Break a little piece off. And we'll pinch a little piece. See if we can get this into focus here. See if you can see that oil there. And so that's almond oil. And so we're going to take, and we're going to use a basic couple dollar grinder that most people have in their kitchen. And we're going to use that, and we're going to grind these up, and we're going to see if we can hand press some oil. So we're going to gather up the ones that are on the screen, put them in a bowl, prepare the grinder, and we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so here's the almonds. They've soaked for 48 hours. They've slow dried or reduced or dehydrated back at room temperature for another 48 hours. And now we have them here in a bowl. Okay, so what we have is these hand mills. This is a Corona. This is the general one I use for most things. It has these two twin face plates. So we can pull those apart so you can see them a little bit. It has two twin face plates compared to the one that has the holes. Okay, so the one with the twin face plates was always the most efficient for me. These average about 30 bucks. You can find them in small shops that sell supplies that make maize or corn tortilla equipment. Okay, and then again they run about 30 bucks. This is the general mill that we can see at a lot of yard sales, sometimes $2, $3, $4 for a hand mill, and it has the holes in the end. So we're going to attempt to go ahead and make the almond oil using the one with the holes that everybody has access to for just a few dollars. So what we've done is, since this particular model didn't fit to this old table that we're using, we've simply put it onto a board. And I'm going to take this board, and I have a few C-clamps, and I'll just clamp this onto the table. And so we'll have our board set up, and we'll grind these up, and we'll hook up the table right now, and we'll be right back. Okay, so here we are. We're all set up. We've got the board slapped on the table with the C-clamps. We have the hand mill set up, the one with the holes in the end. We have a glass casserole dish to here to catch the ground up almond. We have a bowl over here to press it in. Spatula. We also have a piece of material to take the mashed up almond, put it in, and twist by hand. We have a measuring cup so we know how much we're going to have. We started out with a pound of dry almonds, and right now these have been soaked and then dried back, so we don't have a weight on these right now in time. But basically these were a pound when we started. And so that's our setup. Bowl of spatula, measuring cup, almonds, casserole dish, grinder, and it's set up. And of course, instead of 1,000 or a $10,000 press, we're going to use a piece of material. Okay, so let's go ahead and take some almonds and put it through this particular machine. Okay. This is a new ground with this machine. I haven't used a regular grinder like this for many years, but we want to find out that everybody could use this themselves at home with an inexpensive grinder. So that's what we're setting out to do. Let's go ahead and grind this. We've got it on. Okay, we're going to go ahead and loosen the end just a little bit and send the nuts through a little faster. And then if we have to, we'll just grind them a second time. Okay, we're going to loosen that some more. Snug that down some more. And loosen this all the way up. Challenging. Wasn't what I expected, but we're going to continue. Oil is now already pouring off the mill right into the bowl. So we're going to still loosen this up some more. See how much we can get it to loosen up and not fall off the end here. Okay. Okay, a few moments ago it was hard to turn, the end was hard, so I loosened up the end and I opened it up a huge amount, and I think we've got it down now to where this mill will work for us. And so this table's a little loose, but we're going to keep on with this. The camera can't see it, but there's pools of oil inside the mill and oil dripping off the almonds as we speak. And so we'll finish up this particular round. Take a look at the almond. Okay, so you could see the oil in the almond, but not all of it went through the same way. And so we're going to go ahead and wipe that off. Push the rest through. And we're going to drop that back through one more time. Sometimes that's the normal technique, is putting it through 2 times. Even the Corona mill, the other one I showed you with the twin face plates, usually went through 2 times, 1 to 2 times. But let's go ahead and run this through one more time. Right now it's kind of a light tannish. We expect this to get very dark. That's what we're looking for. Ripping with oil and dripping. Ripping and dripping. Okay, let's drop it through. Oh yeah, that's really pouring with oil. Okay, so let's take a look at that for a second. Bring it up to the camera. Let's take a look. Now this looks a little bit dry, which is interesting. I mean, it's got the oil in there, but all the oil is really pooled up in the grinder right now. Let's bring the, I don't want to bring the camera up, but let's see if we can pop this open to show you. So we have all this oil in here. I don't know if you can see that pretty good, but it's rich in saturated oils. So what we're going to do is go ahead and grind up the bowl. Not going to do that on camera, and we'll be right back.